So hi all. Today my topic is penetration testing. So before starting the topic, I'll introduce myself. So my name is Garvit Sharma, and I am an intern in Ascella. So today I live to like to tell you guys like what is penetration testing and how can you like become a penetration tester and more about the penetration testing basically. So before starting the topic, let me tell you like what is penetration testing. So penetration testing is a like pen test you can say. So it is a authorized simulated attack performed on a computer system to evaluate its security, and penetration testers use the same tools, techniques, and the processes as attacker to find and demonstrate the business impact of our weaknesses in a system. So let's start the our topic. So before starting, I'll tell you what we will cover in this PPT. So firstly, we will cover definition of penetration testing as I told you. Then we will move forward to the like who needs penetration testing, then penetration testing viewpoints. Thereafter we come the phases of penetration testing. So in the last I'll tell you from my perspective like how to become a penetration tester. So we will start from the definition of penetration testing. So penetration testing or pen test is a test to evaluating the strength of all security controls on a computer system. So penetration test evaluate procedural and operational controls as well as technological controls. So penetration test usually simulate a variety of attacks that could threaten a business. So they can examine whether a system is robust enough to withdraw attacks from authenticated and authenticated positions. So as well as a range of system roles. So with the right scope, a pen test can dive into any aspect of a system. So thereafter I'll tell you the benefits of the penetration testing. So ideally, softwares and systems were designed from the start with the aim of eliminating dangerous security flaws. A pen test provides insight into how well that aim was achieved. So pen testing can help an organization to find weaknesses in a system and determine the robustness of controls, and you can say support compliances with data privacy and security regulations. Examples are like PCI DSS and HIPAA, HIPAA, and we have a GDPR. So thereafter, uh, it also provide qualitative and quantitative examples for of current security posture and budget priorities for management. So I'll tell you like how much access is given to pen testers. So basically, it depending on the goals of a pen test. So testers are given varying degrees of information about or access to and the target system. So in some cases, the pen test team takes one approach at the start and sticks with it. So other times, the testing teams evolves its like strategy as its awareness of the system increases during the pen test. So there are three levels basically for the pen test access. The first one is a QAPQ box, then we have a semi QAPQ box, then we have a transparent box. So in the opaque box, the team doesn't know anything about the internal structure of the target system, so it acts as a hacker. So would you can say probing for any externally exploitable weaknesses. So semi opaque box, so the team has some knowledge of one or more sets of credentials. So it's also known about the target's internal data structure, codes, and algorithms. So, pen tester might construct test cases based on details design documents, so such as architectural diagram on the target system. So, last, we have a transparent box. So pen testers have access to systems and system artifacts including source code, binaries, containers, and sometimes even the servers running system. So the approach provides the highest level of assurance in the smallest amount of time. So who needs penetration testing? So basically nowadays everyone needs a penetration testing in the organization. So like banks and financial institute, government organizations, and online vendors, or any organization processing and storing private information, they need penetration testing regularly. So most certifications require or recommend that penetration test be performed on a regular basis to ensure the security of the system. So thereafter, PCI Data Security Standard Section 11.3 requires organization to perform application and penetration test at least once in a year. So penetration testing viewpoints. So you can say like these viewpoints are from my side. So external versus internal. So penetration testing can be performed from the viewpoints of an external attacker or a malicious employee. So like overt and covert, overt versus covert. So penetration testing can be performed with or without the knowledge of the IT department of the company being tested. So there are some types of penetration testing. So you can say the comprehensive approach to penetration testing is essential for for optimal risk management. This testing all the areas in your environment. So first we have a web apps, then we have a mobile applications, then networks, cloud, containers, IoT, mobile devices, and so on. So I'll tell you some about the web application penetration testing. So testers examine the effectiveness of security controls and look for hidden vulnerabilities, attackers, pattern, and other any other potential security gaps that can lead to a that can lead to a compromise of a web apps or a web application. Other hand, we have a mobile application. So using the both automated and extended manual testing, testers look for vulnerabilities in application binaries running on a mobile devices and corresponding server-side functionalities. So server-side vulnerabilities include session management, cryptographic issues, authentication and authorization issues, and other common web service vulnerabilities. Then we have a network penetration testing. So this testing identifies common to critical security vulnerabilities in an external network and system. Expert employ a checklist that includes test cases for encrypted transport protocols like SSL certificate, scooping issues, and use of administrative service and more. Then we have a cloud penetration testing. In a cloud environment are significantly different than traditional on-premises environment. Typically, security responsibilities are shared between the organization using the environment and the cloud services provider. So because of this, cloud pen testing requires a test requires a set of specialized skills and experience to the various aspects of the cloud, such as configurations, APIs, and various database and encryption, storage, and the security controls. Then we have a IoT pen testing. So IoT devices such as a medical device, automobiles, and in-home appliances uh, and smartwatches have a unique software testing requirements due to their longer life cycle. So remote locations, power containers, and regulatory requirements and more. So experts perform a thorough communication analysis along with a client and a server analyze to identify defect that matters the most to the relevant use cases and so on. So phases of the penetration testing. So the first step is recognize and information gathering. Then we have animation and scanning. Then we have a vulnerability testing and exploitation. Then we make a report and then the reporting is coming. So in the recognize and the information gathering, so the purpose is to discover as much as information about the target, individual or organizational as possible without actually making network contains with set targets. Sorry. So gather as much information about the target as possible from public and private sources of information. The tech. So the sources include the internet searches, domain registration informations, retrieval, and social engineering, and sometimes even dumpster diving. So this information helps pen testers map out the target's attack surface and possible vulnerabilities. So recognize can vary with the scope and objectives of the pen test. So it can be as simple as making a phone call to walk through the functionality of a system. So methods are like organizing into information discovery via whois. Then we have a Google search. Then we go for the website browsing. Then we have on the other hand, other step is the network enumeration and scanning. So purpose for this is to discover existing networks owned by the target as well as live hosts and services running on those hosts. So pen testers use tools to examine the target's websites or system for weaknesses including open services and web application security issues and open source vulnerabilities. So pen testers use a variety of tools based on what they find during recognize and during the test. So there are some methods are like scanning programs that identify live host, open ports, surfaces, and other information by using the nmap or any auto scan. Then we have a DNS querying. Then we have a route analysis through a trace route. So vulnerability testing and exploitation. So purpose for this is to check host for known vulnerabilities and to see if they are exploitable as well as to access the potential severities of said vulnerabilities. So attackers motivations can include stealing and changing and deleting data, moving funds, and simply damaging a company's reputation. So, to perform each test case, pen testers determine the best tool and techniques to gain the access to the system, whether through weaknesses such as you can say SQL injection or through malware and social engineering and something else. And then maintaining access. So once a pen testers gain access to a target, their simulate attacks must stay connected long enough to accomplish their goals and goals for exploiting data and modifying it and abusing functionalities. It's about demonstrating the potential impact. So method for this is remote vulnerability scanning by using Nessus and OpenVAS. Then active exploitation testing, like login checking and brute forcing. Then we have a vulnerability exploitation by using the Metasploit and core impact. Then zero day and exploit discovery. Then we have a post exploitation techniques to access services like permission levels, backdoors, and rootkits. So there, so then finally the reporting happens. So to organize and document information found during the reconnaissance and network scanning and vulnerability testing phases of the pen test. So methods for this is documentation tools, unlike GRADIS, DRADIS. So basically, it organizes information by host, services, and identified result and risk recommendation to fix problems. So finally, how to become a tester? How to become a penetration tester? So firstly, stay up to date on recent development in computer security regarding newsletters and security reports are a good way to do this. So next, becoming proficient with C, C++, and scripting language such as Perl and Bash. Then Microsoft, Cisco, and EC Council certifications, and also Novel certifications. Then penetration testing certifications. Then CEH certifications like from EC Council, or you can go for the OSCP, and then the GIS certified penetration tester. You can say GPEN. So that's all. So thank you for this, and that's all about the penetration testing. I covered the basic for the penetration testing. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you.